Hey guys, hey, it's the weightlifting therapist coming at you again. I wanted to do another video. I touched on this topic before, basically the stages of change and how to change people. And if somebody doesn't want to change, what you can do about it, how you can try to motivate them for change, and kind of a case study that I'm kind of struggling with right now on the unit at the psych hospital I work at. So first off, right now sometimes I really try to motivate the kids I work with. You know, a lot of them come from hard backgrounds. They come from a lot of mental health issues in the family. They have a history of trauma or abuse, and sometimes the only reliable person they have to rely on is themselves. And so I really challenge and I really try to push kids. So this kid I'm working with right now, he actually came from a detention center, and he's on the unit. He's on my caseload, and he's just really struggling a lot with depression, with suicidal thoughts. And that's kind of what brought him in. He's gotten better since he's been on the unit, but one of the things I'm really having a hard time doing is motivating this kid. So what I tell a lot of kids, especially if they're on probation and maybe they have legal issues or legal troubles like this kid does, you know, I have a really good relationship with a lot of the juvenile probation officers in the town that I live in. And so if I really advocate for a kid and I really reaffirm, and I'm usually doing this all the time anyways, that even if they're not appropriate on the unit or they're still being ridiculous or not getting better, I advocate mental health over punitive punishment. Even if it is sometimes has a large behavioral component, I always advocate for, let's look at what the environment is, let's look at the kid's mental health, let's try to fix that to give him a little bit more of a fair shot going forward. So with this kid, you know, I told him straight up when I first met him, look, I know you have a lot going on. I know you're struggling with the mental health side of things, but do the little small things that I ask you. Do your assignments, do your work, show up to groups, be respectful, do little things you can control. And one of the issues I've had is this kid, I can get him to do that for maybe a couple hours out of the day, and then he just kind of falls apart, gets kicked out of group, curses at staff, just a cycle of destruction and floundering and falling apart. And you know, I really challenged, I really confronted this kid. It was today, you know, I just kind of called him out, like, you know, nothing's ever going to get better if you don't want it to get better. I can try to bring all the help and all the tools and all the world set it before you, and you know, you can have the most crippling depression or the least crippling depression. It doesn't matter if you don't want to change. There's nothing that's going to happen. Nothing's going to get better. Your situation isn't going to move forward. I think one of the lies, you know, I kind of feel for this kid, because when you're in depression, one of the lies that's just kind of perpetuated in your head is that you're worthless, things won't change, yeah, it's better off if you're not here, you know, your motivation is in the tank, and it's really hard. But even in those moments, I still think personal accountability applies. You know, I was telling him this, and you know, really, I guess, how do I say this in clean YouTube terms? And I told him, you've got to pick up your stuff and you've got to move forward. Do this for me. I'll advocate for you. And he continues to just fall apart and blunder and blunder and blunder. So it's tough. You know, I'm talking to his mother, and you know, this has been the pattern for his life. You know, I've really put a lot of effort in the short time I've worked with him, but at the same time, he doesn't want to change. He's not ready for that change right now. If someone's not ready to take that step, you can't force them to take the step. You know, I've used a lot of the tools at my disposal. A lot of the staff have tried to encourage and motivate this kid. But until somebody's really motivated themselves and within themselves, something intrinsic, there's no change that's going to happen. It's so frustrating. I like to be in control. I like to feel like I can influence things. And sometimes I just can't, despite my best efforts. You know, sometimes this kid has let his guard down a little bit around. He's been vulnerable. He says he feels like an idiot and a, you know, quote-unquote retard, and it always feels like he gets screwed over by the legal system. And it's like, you know, it's not, you know, if you just stop committing crimes, you stop doing these simple things, you won't have a problem there. But I know it's more complicated than that. I know a lot of the depression, a lot of these things, you know, if he's told that his probation is requesting him to, you know, do X, Y, and Z, he does X and Y, if that. So it's really difficult. So it just kind of highlights, you know, this is the daily struggle on an adolescent unit in a psych hospital. You know, sometimes we do really see those far outlandish, over the top, you know, psychosis, psychotic episodes, psychotic breaks. We see those. We see them pretty frequently, but it's not all the time. It's not constant. You know, this is in the trenches, the daily kind of battle we fight as clinicians and social workers. It's kind of what it's like. Really trying to, a lot of it's just depression and anxiety and feeling overwhelmed and feeling unsupported from parents and family, feeling stressed out and squeezed against school and demands and things like that. Pushing back and trying to sort out those things and get it to be a better picture for kids is where a lot of the grunt work and just in the trenches, nothing's fancy, nothing's praised, just trying to work on these simple things, trying to make a small change there that hopefully changes the direction for the kids going forward. It's tough, it really is. Sometimes it's really not a rewarding job. So anyhow, there's just a brief insight. If you guys have ideas or tips on how to motivate or increase someone's desire for change, maybe things that I could use, or maybe things you use in your own practice, let me know. I'm always open to learn. I know I'm a young, new therapist, a new social worker, so I'm always excited to get feedback from others. I'm open to accepting new wisdom because I know I don't know it all myself. So anyhow, thank you guys.